This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. Competed in nearly 700 PGA Tour events, 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. It's time to tee it up. News from the world of golf. We're on the range with Jay and Dan.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing on this Sunday morning on 101 ESPN. And with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Great show coming up. One of the biggest names in golf you could ask for, Tom Watson, winner of 8 major championships, including the Open Championship on 5 separate occasions. He was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame back in 1988. We thought this would be the perfect time with the British Open wrapping up today to put on and get Tom Watson. Great get by Jay. Also, Zach Cutler with Family Golf and Learning Center. He's with Golf and Training Institute over at Family Golf and Learning Center. He's going to help you if you have some of the ailments that a golfer may have physically. We'll talk about that, how to get you back in the game. But first and foremost, Jay, great to be with you. And away we go, another edition of Golf with Jay Delsing.
That sounds like a great good morning, Danny. I love doing this with you, too. It sounds like another great lineup we have. The great Tom Watson. Zach Cutler's a good guy, good player. Zach actually played in a U.S. Amateur. And so it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. But that's what we're doing, man. We're trying to help you with all sorts of different parts of your game. And, Danny, I know we'll get into this, but whenever I think of the British Open and whenever I think of Tom Watson, I think of Turnberry 2012, and
Don't think the negative.
It still keeps me up at night. I'm like, how did that not work out for him to win the Open Championship, to win a major at 59?
Yeah, nearly 60 and almost won the Open Championship in 2009.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit, but what's something that you think about, you reflect on your career, you wish you had that one more swing that you could make or a change with something, whatever.
Yeah.
The different club, whatever. Yep. And that's what happened to Tom Watson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. That was just phenomenal.
Well, explain it.
It was almost like theater.
Yeah. For fans that don't know, let's explain it.
So he's 59 years old. Tom's playing at Turnberry, and he's got a one-stroke lead going into 18, the 72nd hole. Hits a beautiful drive, and this hole is playing straight downwind. So it probably cannot play any easier. And Tom, I don't remember the yardage, but Tom wound up hitting an 8-iron, and he hit it right at the flagstick. And the flag is in the back portion of the green, and the back portion of the green slopes from back to front, so the back is a little higher, and it took one huge bounce down the wind and then tried to stop. It rolled right by the hole and trickled over the back of the green where he was dead. He didn't get it up and down. He had an okay chip, a terrible putt, wound up bogeying it, and then got lapped into playoff with Stuart Sink. So Stuart Sink won the Open Championship. But at 59 years old, I mean, look what the golf world did for Phil Mickelson winning the PGA Championship at 51.
Absolutely. They went nuts. They bent over backwards to recognize what was an incredible accomplishment. Anything over the age of 50 on the PGA Tour is incredible to do that. A lot of guys, most of them, they're on the Champions Tour. No
kidding. What about Jack winning the Masters at 46?
Amazing.
That was pretty incredible. But then Phil turning around and doing that at Kiowa, that is something else.
What do you think made him such a great links player, links golf? What do you think it was about his style of play that made him so good?
Well, he could control the height of his golf ball, so he knew how to hit shots in the wind and things like that. And the other thing that he did, Danny, his short game and the creativity, it was amazing. So he was from this, growing up in this lousy weather up here, the wind and the cold, and Jack Nicklaus said at an event I did, gosh, I was probably 2 or 3 years on the PGA Tour. So this was back in the 80s. Jack Nicklaus said, best bad weather player of all time, Tom Watson, not even close. Back in the day, Jack said that they'd go over and play, and the low score would be 74, and Tom would roll in 66 or 67. That doesn't happen very often where you're the low scorer on the PGA Tour by multiple strokes, much less 3 or 4. So it's also a mindset, Danny. Tom's a rough, tough, gruff guy. He sees things a certain way, and he's written letters to stand up for that way.
Yeah.
And so it's I think it's all part of that.
He was very vocal at the Masters dinner. It's not supposed to leak out, but certain things do. And one of the things that he did was get the top players in the world and said, hey, boys, you better figure this thing out because we need this for the betterment of golf, for LIV and the PGA Tour to come together.
100%. And I mean, he said, and I think he started as something like, Danny, to the effect of, isn't this great?
Getting us all together.
We're all back together. It's
right.
Like the band's back together. And then then he went that other direction. But he's right. I mean, he's right. It's the way it should be. And I'm hoping, that we get this major past us, and then we're going to get some clarity as this thing moving forward.
It's really interesting you say that. And at these majors, they're always asked about it. This past week, all the major players are asked about coming together with LIV. No one wants to come out and say anything as a definite because I don't think they want to put themselves and back themselves into a corner, but it does seem like the ice is beginning to thaw between these players and between LIV and between the PGA Tour, and that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, Danny, I think the initial anger, surprise, even disgust from some people, I think that's just kind of worn down a little bit. And that's not abnormal, right? I mean, it's almost a shock to see what they did and take so many good players. And, DJ went, and this guy went, and that guy went. And before you knew it, they really had a stable of 15, 18 really, really top players in the world. But now you're kind of like, all right, the PGA Tour does business in Saudi Arabia. So does 78% of our sponsors or something like that. So, maybe we're going to figure out a way to work this thing out.
And Tiger talked about that too. He was asked about not accepting the captaincy for the Ryder Cup, and he mentioned all my time basically is spent with the PGA Tour on the advisory board and trying to make sure that they get the best foot forward to make sure that there is a merger of some sort to make this happen.
And Danny, just for the record, that man cares so much more about those 82 wins and the future of the PGA Tour than the Ryder Cup. And it's just the most significant thing in the entire world for Tiger are those wins and those majors, not the money, not all the crazy stories and everything or whatever. But no, the most significant thing is those wins. And if you start making those wins less valuable, less important, mean less, well, no chance.
I got to imagine Tom Watson was one of your idols growing up. And
Absolutely.
then you got a chance to play with him.
I know, it's crazy. And, when you think about the Hall of Famers that played here out of the state of Missouri, Payne Stewart and Tom Watson. Now, Payne was more of a constituent because he was only like 6 years older than I am, but Tom was 15 or something like that. So, but yeah, I remember loving watching Tom when he got, playing on the tour. They called Tom Watson a choker initially because he couldn't win. And then all of a sudden he's the professional golfer of the decade in the 80s. He won so much.
He was on the money list, #1 for a number of years. He was #1 in the world. And then he's winning, obviously, 8 major championships, won a couple of Masters, the Open Championship, 5 separate occasions, and goes into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 1988. So not bad. Not a bad resume.
Yeah, so you think about that, Danny. Tom got inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame my 3rd year on tour. But I wound up growing up watching him all the time, and he was from Kansas City, so I loved him. He also went to Stanford, which was interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you like playing over in Europe? Did you like playing in Scotland? Did you like playing at all these places that we're seeing right now the last couple of weeks?
Danny, I always liked when the weather got a little dicey because I felt like I needed an edge, and I felt a lot of the guys would just pitch their tent. I was like, I'm not. I'm going to fight through that. I enjoy flighting my ball different heights and stuff, so playing that in the wind, I like that a lot. I did like it. I like the creativity that it required. It's hard golf. The courses are nothing like I'd ever seen before, and I enjoyed all that. Yeah, I really did.
You just didn't like being in a bunker over there. Those bunkers are unbelievable, man.
You get in a bunker and it's like you just bought the farm. You could just see like dollar bills flying out of your back pocket and your eyes glass over because you're like, I might never get out of this thing, you know?
And they stack the sod, right?
Yeah,
that's how they do that.
Yeah, it's
so
really
that's how they build that up.
Yeah, so imagine peeps, or folks, gosh, that sounded really weird. Anyway,
Hey, peeps.
My people. So you imagine just a cut of sod that's going to be probably 3 feet long and maybe 3 feet, maybe it's a square 3 feet by 2 feet, I think is what they typically are. But what they do is they lay those on top of one another. And so if you look in the bunker, you can actually see that there's little levels that just pack it up. And you know what they do, Danny, is they vary them each year. Like some of them, they'll take them down and make this side lower and that side higher. And then they'll go to other bunkers and go, how did that bunker become? It's a beast over there, you know? And they're also, most of them, Danny, are circular. That's not easy to get, because you get into certain parts of that circle and you got trouble.
You played in the British.
I did, 1995.
What was it like?
It was awesome. It was at St. Andrews. I went over and I played in the Scottish Open. David Faraday helped me get in the Scottish Open. And I said, well, I need a caddy. He goes, I got you covered. It's Irish John. And I said, okay. And I said, he's a friend of yours. He said, yep. And I said, perfect. How am I? This is no cell phones. We're just starting to get cell phones and stuff. No, I don't know if we had a laptop or not. We might have. I don't know. I wasn't using it, obviously. How am I going to meet him? He goes, oh, he's easy to find. He has summer teeth. And I'm like,
some are here, some are there?
Yeah, some are here, some. I'm like, dude, I'm going across the pond. I got to know a better way to find my caddy. And so he set me up. But so Irish John was a character too, Danny. He had like 11 children. He did have summer teeth. And just a character. And I'm on like the third hole. We're playing a practice round of Carnoustie. The wind is howling. And I'm on this par 5. Maybe it was probably fifth hole, the par 5. And I hit a really good drive, and it was kind of downwind, crosswind. And I pull out my 3-wood, and I said, Irish John, can I get this there? And he goes, yeah, eventually. I was like, really, dude?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I mean, this is going to be like, what are we doing here?
Sure.
Is this some sort of comedy hour with you?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so we had a good time.
How about Royal Troon Golf Club, where they're playing the British Open, and it'll wrap up again today?
Yeah.
Tell me about that, and what's the key to playing this place as you watch this morning?
Well, the key, the weather is always the key, and you just really never know what you're going to get, And here's what's really interesting, Danny, because I didn't realize it could get this in depth with the weather. When I played the British Open in '95 at St. Andrews, the wind blew a certain way in the practice round. We play Thursday and Friday. By the way, my afternoon tee time on Friday was 4:50. 4:50. I'm coming down 18, and it is bright and sunny.
9 o'clock at night,
it's
probably,
9 o'clock
right?
at night.
Wow.
And D, you could have played another 18.
Is that right?
Yeah, but so then we made a cut on Thursday and Friday, and then played on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Danny, the wind blew hard, but a completely different direction, and it changed the golf course immeasurably. I was lost. I mean, so that's the stuff to look for at Troon. Like, what's the weather going to do? And that I hate to have this thing be so wishy-washy on the weather, but it's really true. It can blow one direction, it can blow another direction, or it might not blow.
Yeah.
And you're like,
does it soften it? The greens get softened just ever so slightly if it rains,
100%.
Even with the wind blowing 100%. As hard as it is,
Yep.
may blow.
It does. But you'll see those greens, they have so much slope on them. But the key also to watch, Danny, is that they can't get the green speeds themselves super, super fast because of the wind.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, because if you get super, super fast, hard greens and then get 20 miles an hour wind, ball won't stay on the green. And 20-mile-an-hour wind over there, D, is nothing. So that's my call. When I turn that TV on, I don't sleep that well the week of the British, because I turn that thing on and it's 3 a.m. and it comes on, and it's the first thing I look for. It's the first thing I look for. Like, what are the guys wearing? Stocking hats. You can see stocking hats, or you can see sunscreen.
That's right. How about the one thing I think about, and we were talking about Tom Watson nearly at 60, almost winning the Open Championship in 2009. I don't know why I think of this. I think Jean Van de Velde, too.
Oh, no doubt.
I think of that and just the massive collapse that was at that British Open. It's still considered, not only in golf, but really in sports, one of the major collapses ever in the history of sports.
Danny, and he got so unlucky about if something worse would have happened to him sooner on that 18th hole, he would have snapped out of it. But he kept getting these little weird breaks, and then all of a sudden when he chipped the ball into the gully there on 18 at Carnoustie, I'm like, and the burn, I guess they call it, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, this is trouble.
Because, I mean, he's got 3 shots to play with. And,
right.
I mean, he's up there. Danny, the other one, here's one of the worst breaks of all time. He decides to hit this 3-wood, which I'm like, oh, dear God, don't hit the 3-wood, but he's going to keep it right. If you had a 1-inch left, Danny, it goes out of bounds. There's a wire fence back when we played back then that would be out of bounds. So he's going to go right. There's all of these bleachers. So this isn't. This might not be public knowledge, but golfers will shoot balls into people at times. They will. Sometimes accidentally.
It might drop and get a little bounce and deaden, and right there.
So Danny, he fires this ball into the bleachers. Now he was trying to hit it on the green, but he leaked it out to the right. And instead of hitting someone and just dropping, it hits a handrail and comes back across the berm. Even if it hits the handrail and goes in the berm, he's still going to win.
Sure.
But now he's got this thing. So now then he chips it into the berm. So it was a house of horrors. For any true sportsman, it's hard to watch.
What did the guys on tour think of the media and how the media can be very tough? You know, sometimes we say the media can be tough in New York or some of the bigger cities here in the United States. But it just seems like, man, they're always going after the top players, and it can be very tough, the media scrutiny that you see over there, especially with some of the golfers.
No doubt. I mean, did you see what Rory did after the U.S. Open?
Yeah.
He changed his cell phone.
Yeah.
He 2 days.
Went to New York.
Yep, went to New York, hung out, had his pods in, walked around, and then he said he changed the numbers on his phone because he had so many. He's like, I don't want you guys having any of my info.
Yeah.
He didn't get the message from Tiger Woods either. And so, but I mean, Danny, these folks, man, they want what they want. They don't care if you're having the middle of dinner or in the middle of some sort of personal tragedy or some sort of family thing. They don't care.
Tom Watson is coming up, but before we go to break, I want to throw this at you. One of the really fun young players to watch right now is Robert McIntyre, and he wins just a week ago the Scottish Open. I'm pulling for this guy just because of having his dad on the bag at the Canadian when he won, and his dad said, I'm just a grass cutter from Scotland.
So good.
I just think it's awesome what he's doing.
Okay, so folks, for you that are catching this late, Robert McIntyre, his caddy can't make it up to the Canadian Open. He's having an okay season, off and on. His dad's a greenskeeper in Scotland, and if you ever hear him talk, you can barely understand half of what they say.
Right.
And he sends his dad a ticket, and he wins the RBC Canadian Open. Rob McIntyre wins with his dad on the back. Last week in the Scottish Open, he got the break of a lifetime on 16.
I was going to go into this, but go ahead and explain this.
He fires his ball out into the middle of the fescue. The fescue is waist high, and he is in the rat's nest of this stuff. And it's very hit or miss. He hits it in the heavy stuff, and this is his last real chance, real good chance at birdie, or he's 2 shots behind Adam Scott, 3 holes to play. He gets in there, Danny. He's standing on a sprinkler head in the middle of the fescue. Gets a drop, knocks it on the green, 6 feet away, makes eagle, pars 17, which is really difficult, and then birdies 18, and the hometown kid winning over there. And did you hear what he said? Why he was late to his interview for the British Open this week? He got too drunk.
Right. It's exactly right. But you just pull for him. He even said after the Canadian, he said, we're going to have such a party. I don't know if I can make my next stop on the PGA Tour.
He pulled out.
Yeah.
He didn't play in, wasn't it? Where was it? I don't know. Was it Detroit or what? I don't know.
Might have been Rocket Mortgage.
He didn't play in it. Yeah. He didn't play in it.
It's a great story, though.
Great story. Yeah, you got to love it. And man, you watch this kid's confidence grow, and he holds that putt on 18 from 20-something feet right in the heart. I mean, that's impressive.
All right, we're going to talk equipment later in the show. Tom Watson is coming up. Also, Zach Cutler with the Golf and Training Institute at Family Golf and Learning Center. But our tip of the cap, I want to go with equipment and something that you endorse and that you are very proud of endorsing, and that's Orange Whip. And you advise everybody, get an Orange Whip in your bag. It can help you out.
It's a no-brainer, Danny. It's a no-brainer. And here's the deal. The Orange Whip, the tip of the cap is brought to you by Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. I was just over there this week. These guys take great care of people. I'm sitting in the waiting room waiting for folks, and everybody's like, this is the only place I ever go to. So it's Colin Burton, his team, Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. They're great people. They'll treat you like family. All right, the Orange Whip. Danny, you don't see very often when you go on the LPGA Tour, the Corn Ferry Tour, the Champions Tour, whatever tour. Very seldom do you see one of anything. But the one thing, the most common denominator on all 4 or 5 of those tours is the Orange Whip. It's the Orange Whip, and Jim Hackenberg, a shout out to Jim. He was a collegiate golfer. He grew up in South Dakota. And folks, don't buy a knockoff. Don't buy a knockoff. Buy the Orange Whip. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and just check it out. And here's the deal. There's a reason why those knockoffs are there. There needs to be counterbalancing in the grip. All of these things. Go on the website and check it out. And the Orange Whip also has stuff for your putter, stuff for your fitness. Overall, just check it out. It's a super cool, fun website. But Danny, what the Orange Whip does, it's a weighted ball that's orange on the end of a very flimsy line, and it mimics the shaft. And what it does is it helps you load the shaft. So the common question you hear anytime we're having lunch or going out with people, Jay, how can I hit it farther? How you got to load the shaft. And it's about speed, but loading that shaft creates more speed, more flex, and that's what the Orange Whip does. Folks, check out the Orange Whip.
And that's our tip of the cap.
Brought to you by Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303.
We're coming to you from the Car Shield Studios, as always brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions. Winner of 8 major championships, Tom Watson will be our guest when we come back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was On the Range. Up next, we'll head to the front 9. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's greatest names. Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Longer, Justin Leonard, David Toms, and more will compete returning September 3rd through the 8th. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com for information.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Peter Jacobson, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country, and all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
Is Golf with Jay Delsing. The Front Nine is presented by the Ascension Charity Classic. To find out more, visit ascensioncharityclassic.com.
Let's bring in one of the legends of golf, winner of 39 events on the PGA Tour, 2 Masters, U.S. Open, 5 Open Championships, and the list goes on. And it's the great Tom Watson. And I know, Jay, we were talking about it earlier, but you had a chance to play with the great Tom Watson. Tom, how often do you watch what's happening on the weekends with the PGA Tour? And a follow-up to that, who's the player that you really follow and say, that's the guy I'm going to watch?
Well, I actually am watching a little bit more golf now. I miss it. I miss playing golf and being able to swing a golf club. That's what I am. I'm just a golfer. And without the ability to swing a golf club, I really do miss it. So I'm watching a little bit more golf on TV. I was just at the PGA Merchandise Show this last week and saw the excitement down there in the golf industry. It was really well attended. They had 800 exhibitors this year versus 400 last year. So people are really excited about the game of golf right now. We're seeing it in the numbers. The greater numbers of people playing. And my goal right now is, and it always has been, since I got on the tour, is to create that passion for kids, especially to learn and learn to play the game with the passion that I learned to play the game with. We started with a program here before the first tee. It was similar to the first tee. We built 3 short holes, and we had an instructor. The kids came out and they were instructed how to play, and they'd go up in these short holes and learn and have fun, actually playing golf. And that kind of segged into the first tee program, which I got very much involved with here in Kansas City, and from that Youth on Course program, where we subsidized the kids' greens fees, their junior greens fees at courses where the kids don't have to pay any more than $5. I love that program. And then we went to, I said, we need to get the kids out on the golf course with somebody who can play like I had. I had a dad or a pro or my brother, good players. We went out and we played and had fun. We also learned something. We started, the Watson Golf Mentors Program, which this is the second year of it here in Kansas City, and it's expanded, and we're getting a lot of excitement and participation now early in the year right now, which is really exciting to me. And then add to that, over the years, playing golf, especially in the UK and Scotland, you see these small for lack of a better word, call them wee links, little short golf courses. I mean, they're not very long. Actually, there's one right in front of the Turnberry Hotel. It used to be 12 holes, and now it's 18 holes. I mean, there's no shot longer than about 70 or 80 yards. I have a friend here who loves the game of golf with a passion with kids, and he built a wee links golf course. And what this is, it's built on an acre of land. There are 6 holes on that acre, 150 total yards. 30 yards, averaging 30 yards a hole. He puts 6-inch cups and 5-foot flags. He puts an artificial tee so you don't mess up the tee, and then he grasses it. Here in Kansas City, we use zoysia grass, and we cut the fairways to a 1/2 inch and the greens to 3/8 of an inch, so that you can putt them. And we get kids just beginning with the game, teach them a little bit of the fundamental skills, get them on there, and have them have a challenge. Go from that tee to that cup. Take 2 clubs, take a 9-iron and a putter. And so we're starting to build those around Kansas City now and trying to promote that everywhere. We think that it's very easily, you can build it for anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000. The maintenance is low maintenance. You certainly have to have a mower to mow the fairways, the grass, and if you tie into a golf course, they have the equipment. If it's a park, then you have to you have to determine how that course is going to be maintained. But we're getting we have a lot of excitement about the one course we built here, and projected. We're going to build a couple more courses, 3 courses probably this year. Just little type. We call them wee links. Jeff Bury, who was a pro at Pinehurst for years, and then at Prairie Dunes and Wolf Creek here, and he had a teaching and par 3 golf course out in Eudora, Kansas. He built that there, and he's just had a great amount of participation with these kids. The kids go around there, and one kid's made 6 holes in one. How exciting is that? He has T-shirts that says, "I made a hole in one." So you get the kids really excited about playing. That lights the fuse, and if we can get the fuses lit for as many people as possible, kids and new golfers of any type, that's my goal in life, really.
You love sports, and I'm curious about this question and your answer in terms of advice that you would give parents today, because there's the specialization of sports for kids. What's your advice for parents that are listening to this nationwide from the great Tom Watson?
Don't concentrate on one sport. I know it's a difficult thing with kids anymore, because if they're looking to get good enough to get a scholarship to college, then their coaches and their parents, they say you have to play this sport all year round. I don't like that. I think that kids ought to have, they ought to have fun playing a variety of sports and activities outside. That develops certain skills, different skills. I played football and basketball, ran track, and of course played golf through high school, and actually some intramural sports when I was going to college. I think that develops a well-rounded body, and it doesn't burn you out. I think a lot of kids get burnt out with the programs that they get forced to do.
Tom, one of the things that strikes me is just a massive benefit from the game, and listening to you talk about growing the game and the future of the game with the kids. Tom, when I think back about the men and the women for that matter that I was introduced to because I could play well, because I caddied and just I hung around the golf course. some of these lessons and these life lessons, they're invaluable for these kids.
Well, sure they are. Again, learning from an adult. I really kind of started this junior program because the caddies went away with the golf carts. You didn't have caddies at clubs anymore. You didn't have caddies. And of course, now caddies are too expensive. You learned as a kid. My dad used to he said, give me the newbie. I'll teach that kid how to caddy. And, by the way, when you teach him how to caddy, you teach him kind of the rules of the game. And other rules that are beyond the game, and stories that the caddies listen to, the adults, and they get some real world experience and wisdom from the older people that they caddy for. It's the same way in with our Watson Golf Mentors program. We get older people. We'll get we get some older gentlemen to go out and play with these kids. And they have a great passion for the game, and they'll instill this passion for these kids, just like my dad and Stan and others did for me. And that's what I want. I want people, kids in particular, to get introduced to the game and learn to love the game and say, I want to play it.
You mentioned that you were at the PGA show, and when you played golf, Jay played golf, it was different equipment, clearly. So we've had amazing advancements in the game of golf. Do you think that's been good overall for the game?
Well, I do. I think it by making it easier to play, hit the ball straighter. You don't have to hit the ball right in the the absolute center of the golf club. It's made it easier for people to play, and they have more enjoyment when they play better. The USGA did an experiment with when the big-headed drivers, the big-headed metal drivers came out, the 460cc drivers came out. They did an experiment where they took that driver and they took a persimmon, the old persimmon head, which is a lot smaller, and they purposely, they found the center of the face of the driver, and then they purposely hit the ball with their machine 5/8 of an inch off center from that center all the way around the clock. They found a tremendous difference in the distance that the ball went. With the large-headed driver, it only affected the distance by 5 yards with 109 mile-an-hour swing speed. That's a pro speed. With the persimmon driver, you lost 49 yards in distance when you missed it by 5/8 of an inch off center. That you learn when you play that equipment. You learn that you learn how to hit the ball right in the middle of the club face all the time if you're going to be any good.
Tom, I'll never forget when they first came out with those Berthas, they said to me, Jay, you got to try to hit this ball high and on the toe. And I said, fellas, I'm still trying to hit the thing daggone square in the middle of this thing.
Well, they were right. The best place to hit that club is high on the toe. Actually, I saw a tweet that showed Colin Morikawa's 3-wood, and where he hits it is on the toe a little bit high of center. That's where that's the mark that he puts on that 3-wood. So you learn the best place to hit the ball off that 3-wood.
How are you able to get so good at the game of golf growing up in the Midwest and in cold weather? And a follow-up to that would be, what do you practice? How do you get that good playing in cold weather if you're not in Florida, Texas, Arizona, so on and so forth?
Well, the old saying, you dance with the one what brought you. I only had this weather to practice in when I was getting ready for really put my nose to the grindstone. I knew I was going to try to make it on the tour. And we had a bunch of crazy people at the club I belonged to that loved to, they played in any type of weather. And we'd go out and we'd have 2-3 foursomes to go out and play. When it's when the greens are frozen and it's 28 degrees out. I remember one of my favorite holes in one was on New Year's Day. Normally we played at 10 o'clock on the weekend. That was the time. But on New Year's Day, we said, because everybody was celebrating last night, let's make it at 11 o'clock. There's not a lot of light. And so we all show up at 11 o'clock. Well, it was 28 degrees. And the wind was blowing at least 25 miles an hour out of the north. And the greens are, they're totally frozen, just like concrete. Learning to play on concrete greens, man, now it's like a chess game. You have to figure out where, because the ball's not going to stop in the green. Especially if you have a bunker, you have to hit over a bunker and land it on the green. It's going to, take 2 hops and it's over. So where are you going to leave the ball when you have the best chance to get it up and down? And it was great. So we came around to the 12th hole, and it's a downhill par 3 that I normally hit a 4 or 5 iron to, and it was about, I took a 1 iron out, and I hit this thing, and I hit it right at the flag, and it hit short of the green, one huge hop, and then it hit on the front third of the green, another huge hop, and it slam dunked in the pin, made a hole in one. Well, a hole in one with a 1 iron on a frozen green on New Year's Day. I remember that hole in one like it was yesterday.
I bet you your competitors can remember that hole in one too.
Absolutely.
That might have cost them a couple of shekels there.
It cost every one of them $50.
When I dreamed of playing on the PGA Tour, going through the qualifying school, I always wanted to try to assess myself against the greats. You were one of my heroes when I was growing up, and especially being from the Midwest.
That's what we did. We wanted to. We watched the best players out there because we wanted to maybe someday be like them. That's when I came out here. I was told by the pros here when I played with a bunch of the pros here in Kansas City on Mondays when the clubs were closed. And when I when I qualified for the tour, I basically said, what do I do when I get on the tour? Every one of them said the same thing. You go and watch the best players out there. You watch them practice. You try to play with them. You watch how they strategize around a golf course. That's how you learn to be, the best player. I watched Nicklaus. I watched Snead when he came out, when he was out. He actually was playing when I first started. Trevino, Johnny Miller, Gene Littler. Watch Arnie. I watched the greats. And in particular, I watched Jack Nicklaus because I tried to play. I watched him what clubs he hit off the tees when he was playing. He wouldn't necessarily hit driver. He was a long hitter, but he took. Jack was the best, I think, at assessing the risk of every shot to make it as risk-free as possible. Sometimes, some of these guys out there, they don't understand the risk of, say, missing the green to the left and short side yourself. It's going to be an automatic bogey. Versus one time where you short side yourself. Well, it's not that bad of a short side. Jack was always the best at that, and I watched him. I emulated his golf swing when I was a young man. I got more upright, learned to hit the ball higher and left to right, and I had that part in my arsenal. So I had to evolve into being a good player, but I watched the best players play all the time.
In 1977, in that Open Championship, and you mentioned Jack, so I got to ask you, at Turnberry, it's one of the great events when you talk about the history of golf. But I'm curious, what did that do for your relationship with Jack?
It's kind of like, what the Open Championship at Turnberry did after I won the Masters, and Jack was right, and we were in the mix. We're tied almost the entire back nine. At the Masters, and I birdied the 17th hole, and he bogeyed the 18th hole, and I won by 2. That was that was big. That was my first Masters win, and but the way I looked at it, I say, well, I need to confirm that. I need to keep confirming. Can I beat the best in the game? And when I won at Turnberry, walking off the green, Jack took me. He took his arm, put it around my neck, and squeezed it hard, and said, Tom, I gave you my best shot, but it wasn't good enough. And that one line, it just said to me, well, I can play with the big boys now. I can do it. I can beat the best. And my career really took off after that.
How did you learn to win? How did you learn to get over the hump? You had been so close, and then all of a sudden it kind of clicked for you. You mentioned the Masters, and then Turnberry and a bunch of events after that. You're starting to win. How did you learn to win?
First of all, I learned to win by hating to lose.
There you go.
And I lost a lot. And I had leads and I blew. And but finally, I found an element in my swing that I could trust more so than any time in the past. And that I got that in late '76 and took it to the tour in '77. And it worked out. I mean, it gave me the confidence that when I was in competition, when I was under the pressure, that I could perform, and I did perform. And the more I did perform and won, which I did a lot that year, it boosted the confidence that, I'm doing the right thing. But, those things in your golf swing, they never last. Jay, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you feel like you have the golf swing down by making a certain move, and you use it, and then you lose it. It doesn't work anymore. Then you have to find something else. And that's what I did. I was constantly trying to improve my golf swing, refine it and improve it, and never gave up on that. And never sat idly as far as I was concerned about I was concerned about my golf game. I always tried to improve.
Tom, it's unmistakable to me. I've had the privilege of getting to hang around you, compete with you, that there's still a hell of a burning desire. I hear it in your voice. There's something about this game where it bites us, and I don't know if it ever lets go.
Yeah, I want to pass that on, Jay. I want to pass that on to young people. I wanted that passion and that desire to play the game the best you can. You know what that does? If you can teach kids in sport to play the best they can and give it, really give it absolutely everything they have to be the best in everything, every shot, every dribble, every pass, every block, every putt, every bunker shot that you have, that translates into doing the same things outside of sport in life. Bottom line, going to a job, doing the best you can. Your boss says, here's a project and why don't you get it done? You do it the best you can. You don't take any shortcuts. You know that, sometimes you're going to fail. And failure really breeds success. There's not a question that's part of the formula of becoming better in anything you do. You have to fail. You can't just immediately go in there and have success. And some people may have the natural talent like that, but they're going to fail. If that failure doesn't breed a desire to not fail again and do the right things that cause the failure, avoid the wrong things that cause the failure, and learn about that, and they will improve.
Anybody that's listening to this is getting the idea of how charitable you are. You have raised millions of dollars to get kids in the game. What you've done for ALS with your longtime caddy and Bruce Edwards, pancreatic cancer. I guess the general question, Tom, would be, why do you think golf and this game is so charitable?
Well, it's pretty easy. What we love about the game is that I can go and play with a 30 handicap, and I say, I say, what's your handicap? Well, 30. Well, I have to give you 2 shots. I have to give you these shots, and we can go and we can play a real game, a competition against each other.
That's like me and Jay playing
fair and literally have a fair competition if your handicap's honest.
Not many of those out there, Tom. I don't know. That's a whole nother show, I think.
Yeah, that's what I love about the game is that you go out and you have a fair competition. This group of idiots that we used to go out and play on the frozen greens, they all have different handicaps, and we play a game called Birdie Bogey, which was a Stableford type of thing where you got points for pars and negative points for bogeys and birdies. So you had positive points, and at the end of the day, you tallied up how many points you had, and it was all based on handicap. That was fun. And it kept us on. Kept our nose to the grindstone when we were playing. I was playing just as hard playing against these guys as I was against Nicholas at Turnberry in 77.
Tom, one of the things as a person that's admired you, looked up to you, there was always talk amongst my peers about the Watson character. Some of the things that, whether it's the way you were raised, the Midwestern, all of those sort of things, we talk about how honest the game is. We call penalties on ourselves. I know that you had several incidences, like at the 91 Masters when there was a heckler with Ian Woosnam, and you were like, hey man, we don't do this in golf. And can you talk a little bit about that? And in our world today, it just seems like there's less and less of that.
Well, I think the world today has changed. I call it the casual Friday world. We don't have the respect for the people as we used to have. The bottom line, respect each other's opinions, respect the way people look and dress, and all that. We've become casual Friday. And, I miss, what I miss? I miss the style that the golf pros used to have on the tour, where they dressed, they really were impeccable. They really took pride in how they dressed, from Byron Nelson. You saw the players, Byron, Arnie, Jack, not so much when he first started, but then he got the word that said, Jack, you got to improve your dress from the old guys. And the way they presented themselves, the way they looked in the golf course. I kind of miss that. The styles today it's all athletic. There's nobody wears leather shoes anymore. It's all athletic shoes. And I guess that's the look. And we took pride in how we dressed, and looked, I think, a little bit more than the kids today do. But it's part of the society. It's the casual. It's casual part of the society that in the informality of it that it has changed. But the game still has the element of the honesty that we play by the rules. If you don't play by the rules in the game of golf, you're chastised. You're a pariah. Not like that in other sports. And I go back. Tennis is a good is not a good example, because I believe tennis. The players themselves they call the balls. Of course, you have the Cyclops or whatever the electronic lines caller now. But I remember watching John McEnroe play in the U.S. Open up in New York, up in Flushing, and he played this match, and it was a night match, and there was a lines call, and he did, "You can't be serious," like this, and the lines call went against John McEnroe, and then another lines call came, and he said, and it went for John McEnroe, and he said, "You can't be serious." He was defending his opponent. His opponent's ball was it beat him, but the lines judge called it out, and so he defended the integrity of the game there. And I always, he was always kind of a loud mouth and like that. But when I saw that, I said, this guy has integrity about the way the game of tennis should be played.
Tom, you've done so much in the game of golf. You continue to do it. So my final question is, what's left to accomplish? What's left on the table that you'd like to get under your belt?
It gets back to the earlier part of the conversation. I want to inspire, especially kids or anybody, to play the game. I want to show them, by example or my passion for the game, a passion that they can learn to have and to learn to learn the game and all of a sudden fall in love with the game. Be lifetime golfers. That's what my foundation, and that's the simple goal, is to create lifetime golfers, no matter what ages they are, but especially kids.
And Tom, follow up to your foundation, best way for people to get a hold of you or to at least donate to the foundation to keep that passion for golf going.
It goes through Central Links Golf here in Kansas City. Then we go through the First Tee here in Greater Kansas City, the First Tee organization here. We support those groups. We support Youth on Course here in Kansas City. That it goes through Central Links Golf. So Central Links Golf is a good place to kind of go peruse and see the programs that they have, and the First Tee of Greater Kansas City. Those two websites there are good to see what's going on here.
Well, this has been amazing, Tom, and I can't thank you enough for doing this. Thrill for me to visit with you, and I know Jay feels the same way.
You're welcome. Take
care.
Great,
Tom. Take care.
All right. So long.
That was the Front Nine. Up next, we'll make the turn. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by CarShield.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, and it's because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and easy, and their customer service is second to none. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester in Kirkwood, you'll be a customer for life because they will treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, this second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to jerseyvillecarpetandfurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are you tired of watching your golf scores go up every year? Despite new equipment and even a couple lessons, you still fight that slice or your inability to get that ball up and down out of the bunker? Well, get ready to experience better golf with Elevate Golf. At Elevate Golf, we're changing the way golfers practice with our innovative and data-driven approach to learning and, most importantly, improving. We have an array of membership options where you can find the perfect fit for your golf, your lifestyle, and your budget. Whether you start in our full-service gym, the short game area that has real sand bunker, or one of our 7 TrackMan simulator bays, the team at Elevate Golf will do a complete assessment of you and your game, which is crucial because if you don't know where you're starting from, it's nearly impossible to attain a goal or a new level. Call us today at 636-265-0557 or visit us at elevategolf.com. That's ELV, the number 8, golf.com. Contact us today and get ready to play better golf.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return.
This is Making the Turn. Making the Turn is presented by Family Golf and Learning Center. For the kids and adults who love the game of golf, look no further than Family Golf and Learning Center. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Golf with Jay Delsing continues on 101 ESPN, coming to you from the Car Shield Studios and brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and our thanks to Tom Watson for joining the show. Great visit with Tom. I thought he was very open, thought he was honest about a lot of things, and I love the fact that he gives back and truly has an appreciation, Jay, and loves the game. He's trying to grow the game.
Danny, I got to tell you, one of the things that came to mind to me when I've heard that interview and got to listen to him is how much the golfers from that generation, the Arnold Palmers, the Jack Nicklauses, the Tom Watsons, how much they taught us younger players to give back and how important that was. And not only on the PGA Tour, Danny, but more importantly in our local communities. And you know what Tom's doing down at in Kansas City and doing all the other stuff for junior golf and raising money for ALS and all the other things that he does. I mean, all that stuff was kind of coming at me at the same time, but the way that the guys did it and because of who they were, it really and truly meant a lot. And I wonder if that's going on the PGA Tour nowadays. And, because there are older guys, the Zach Johnsons, the Stewie Sinks and stuff like that. You wonder, are the young guys paying attention? Do they know how involved they are in their community? Zach Johnson does an amazing fundraiser in Iowa. It's just fantastic. I got to get Zach on the show and talk some Midwestern golf here. That'll be fun. But you just wonder,
Yeah, and he talked about playing in cold weather, and we mentioned that in our first segment. He said, man, basically when the ice thawed, and even then when it didn't, we were out there playing golf, and that's how you learn to play in bad weather, isn't it? You know that firsthand playing in St. Louis.
Oh, Danny, I can remember hitting shots that would fly into the green, and sometimes you'd need a backhoe to get them out because they just bury into the green because the green was thawed and really, really soft. And then other times, that ball would land in the middle of the green, and it would just bounce like it was hiding on the highway. You're like, where's it going? It'd go 40 yards over the green because the green would be rock hard and there wouldn't even be a ball mark on there.
I love, we're talking a little bit about Jack Nicklaus, but the rivalry with Jack was really, friendly competitiveness, and that increased golf's popularity in the fan base and also bringing in the casual fan, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the duel in the sun, that was just spectacular. And they had a lot of other really, really good head-to-head competitions. I think Jack said to Tom after he won the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach in '82, "You got me again, you son of a gun," something like that. So you got to love it. I mean, to have the great Jack Nicklaus say that to you, what a thrill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Seriously. Wow.
You mentioned having knocked knees when you were playing with Jack, and you got to play with Arnold Palmer, and now you get to play with Tom Watson. You said you played with him a number of times, right? And so when you're a kid growing up, and you mentioned that he was one of your idols growing up and a guy that you always followed, and then you have a chance to play with him, just simply put, it has to be a thrill of a lifetime. And what is it like to play with a guy like Tom Watson?
So what happens, D, is like you go on the range your first time as a PGA Tour player, and you're like, wow, because there's this moment where you're like, I'm getting my glove on and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, all the best players in the world are out here.
Sure.
And all of a sudden I'm out here, now what? And then you start getting paired with guys and you characters and gruff old guys and grumpy old guys and all great people. You get a wide variety. And then, so the first thing that when I first played with Tom, I was like, wow, can't believe it. I happened to play with Sevy on Thursday and Friday that same week. We were up in Westchester.
Pretty good.
I know. Sevy was really struggling with his game, Danny. I was driving it like 40 yards past him. He was really struggling with his game. Anyway, so the first thing is, you stand on the tee and they announce you, and Tom Watson hits first. You're going, I'm playing with Tom Watson. So there's this moment of where you're a little out of it. You're a little distracted, but then you kind of get into like, okay, come on, man, we got to go now. So,
sure.
But there's that, like with Jack, it took me a good 5 holes. I was like, my head's spinning like I don't want to step in Jack's line. I don't want to say anything stupid. I don't want, and then all of a sudden you get back into the golf. But the second and third times you play with him, it's much easier because you're like, hey, he's another dude. He's won a lot of tournaments. He's a Hall of Famer, but still, he's got to lip some putts out just like, I did yesterday. So let's do it.
Generally speaking, do guys talk all that much? So if you went up to Tom Watson during your round, would he talk, or was he more just all business, like you shake hands, you play your round, shake hands, call it a day?
No, he would talk. He would definitely talk. He would ask me a lot of baseball questions because he knew I was a baseball junkie.
Did he know your dad played in the major leagues?
He did. Yep, he did.
That's great.
Yep, it was cool. He asked me a couple of questions about that sort of stuff. He'd ask me. He'd actually ask my opinion about the Royals in a couple of times, and I threw it out there. What the hell?
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, all of them are very, very cordial. Nah, Faldo's not. Faldo didn't have a thing to say.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of his.
Nah, I'm not. After 3 holes, I'm like, all right, I'm not talking to you anymore.
You've had enough.
Yeah, now I just want to beat you. And dude, he shot 64 the day I played with him. Yeah, he got me. I shot 67.
That's pretty damn good, too.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good enough to be low in my group that day. We were playing off a twosome. It was crazy, Danny. I get up there, and they announced him first. We're playing it up in Warwick Hills in Flint, Michigan, and they went over like 40 of his wins. Winner of the 1988 Masters. Winner of the – and I'm like, oh. And then I get up there, and they're like, from St. Louis, Missouri. And so I stopped, and I said – I won the St. Louis District Junior Golf Tournament when I was 17.
Did you tell them that?
Yeah, I did.
Did they laugh?
I gave them a little. Yep, they did. And then I ripped one right down the middle.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
Zach Cutler with Golf and Training Institute at Family Golf and Learning Center will be our guest. He is waiting outside. He'll be in our studio here momentarily here at 101 ESPN. There are so many people that come to you and say, Jay, my back hurts. Yeah. Jay, I got a bad elbow. Jay, I got a bad knee. What can I do? It's golf. Well, let's answer some of these questions. That's what I'm looking forward to with Zach.
No question, Danny. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people have that idea or mentality like, oh, this is just what I got. I got what I got. It's not necessarily true. It might be, but it might not necessarily be true. And Zach will have a lot of the answers for us. And here's what's super cool about Zach and about Adam. When you go to Family Golf and Learning Center, you get the complete package, right? You got fitness. Look, you could try and play the best golf you can. If you can't get out of the car, you need Zach. You know what I mean? And think about that, Danny. And I think that's so cool how right in town we've got the best driving range, practice facility. I mean, nobody anywhere close can compete. And then out west, we've got Elevate Golf, and those guys have, Tyler Lowenstein, same thing. He's not quite the chiropractor side, but he's the director of fitness, and he's a physical therapist, and both guys can help you. But the point is, I love the way they're looking after the entire package. They're not just trying to sell you clubs or get you into lesson tee. They're trying to take care of your body too, which helps you with a better quality of life all the way around. So, again, Zach Cutler will be our guest. We're talking about a bad back. I'm sure we're going to get into back issues with golfers, and is that the most prominent issue back
that you
and
see?
Wrist, yeah. And then I think, here's what's interesting too, Danny. We're going to start seeing a new wave of injuries because of the way the guys are swinging it so hard.
I agree.
The body is, you got to remember, the human body was not designed to play some of these sports. That's what freaks like Nolan Ryan and Jack Nicklaus and these guys, that pretty much played most of their career injury-free. It's just amazing.
So I think it's curious and interesting that we lead into this because you're getting ready for the Ascension Charity Classic.
Yeah.
How's your back holding up?
Fair. It's fair. It's I got some issues. I've got a herniated disc that's protruding in there pretty solidly. I got a couple of epidural shots in May, and we'll see. Are you
teetering here?
We're day by day, no matter what. But we're really day by day with this back thing. But yeah, it's for anybody that's had a bad back before, that it just comes. It can come out of the blue, So I've had a couple of really good weeks, and then the last week, past week has been okay. Hasn't been great. So I'm just borderline on do I go out and go, totally all in at the gym, or and risk hurting it, or do I try to take it easy? So I'm in between that, and I don't like it.
Does it hurt your swing?
It does not hurt when I swing, but it hurts like when I sit down. It hurts when I walk. But it's odd that it doesn't. I can turn, which is the old back ailment I had hurt when I swung, which probably helped me not swing so well. But, that's the way she goes.
Zach Cutler with Golf and Training Institute at Family Golf and Learning Center will be our guest. So we'll talk about the most commonly seen injuries in the game of golf and how we can help you prepare for those issues coming along in your game. Should be interesting. Zach Cutler coming up next on Golf with Jay Delsing.
Making the Turn was brought to you by Pro-Am Golf. See what Pro-Am Golf can do for you. Up next, we head to the back nine. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
am proud to welcome the Gateway section of the PGA back to my show. Whether you're pulling into your favorite driving range, public golf course, or country club, there is an excellent chance that the staff there is part of the over 300 men and women PGA professionals at over 100 facilities that make up our Gateway section. I grew up watching so many of these fine men and women getting to the golf course at dawn, leaving at dusk, spending their entire day running events, giving lessons, and growing this great game. PGA Reach, Drive, Chip, and Putt, PGA Hope, and the fantastic PGA Junior League are a few of the examples of the programs run by these same PGA professionals. Go to gatewaypga.org to learn more, or to find your next PGA professional for your next lesson, go to pga.com. The Gateway PGA, growing the game we love.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make, and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. Brought to you by Car Shield and Doherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
So you've been hearing me talk about one of our community's greatest contributors and most philanthropically inclined companies. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Marcone. They're the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America. Did you know that Marcone is also the largest and most trusted supplier of commercial and residential appliance parts, HVAC, plumbing, commercial kitchens, and pools and spas? All of that's in North America as well. That's right, Marcone does all that. Marcone is committed to supporting our first responders, all the branches of service in our military, our police and firefighters, and many more. From the viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic, founded in honor of our military heroes, to their commitment to Wreaths Across America program, Marcone is here for you and your family as well as your community. That's Marcone, the official sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is the Back Nine. The Back Nine is brought to you by Car Shield. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, and along with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin, coming to you from the Car Shield studios. And as always, we're presented by Doherty Business Solutions. In studio with us is Zach Cutler with Golf and Training Institute at Family Golf and Learning Center. Zach, thanks for coming in. We certainly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to it, and excited to be here and talk to you guys about Golf and Training Institute, Family Golf and Learning Center, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. So Zach, give all the listeners a little bit about your background. You're a good player, played USC. Give them a little bit of background, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So grew up here in St. Louis and went on and played Division I golf at a small school up at Valparaiso University, and then from there went along the chiropractic physical therapy route and chose chiropractic down here at Logan University. from there, went on to start up Golf and Training Institute, and a few things golf experience-wise. Played in the 2016 USAM, and really, I want to combine my chiropractic knowledge, my exercise science knowledge, and then my past golf experience to really help golfers here in the St. Louis area.
Where did you play in the USAM? Which course?
Oakland Hills.
Oh, that's easy.
Up in Michigan.
Real easy. Kenny, one of the hardest courses. They call it the Beast.
No doubt.
It is a lot of hard.
Really cool experience for sure, and really test your game. And
how about those greens?
Oh my goodness,
unreal!
Very fast. Both courses up there. So absolutely.
So Zach, somebody walks through the doors of Family Golf and Learning Center, and they're trying to get healthy, or they're trying to work on their golf game, or do a little bit of both. Mm-hmm. Give us an idea of the golfer and what you deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. So I'm located upstairs at Family Golf and Learning Center, and right when everyone comes in, I put them through, it's called a custom golf movement assessment. So it's partially TPI, Titleist Performance Institute. Many PTs, chiros, and some golfers might be familiar with this. And then I add in my own twist with chiropractic and another movement assessment. So basically with every golfer, no matter what age or skill level, I'm looking at the physical side. So are there any physical limitations with range of motion? Are we looking at stability, strength, power? And then also I combine these with the golfer's goals. So everyone has some different goals. Is it mobility? Is it more strength, more power? Is it swing speed? Is it just longevity and pain-free golf? So basically after the assessment, we put everything together, all the information. We create a game plan for each and every golfer.
That's super cool. Are you a Mike Murphy disciple?
I am.
Yeah, all have. We had Murph, and he's just
keep
fantastic.
Him in business, Jay.
Yeah, well, look at me. I mean, he's helped my daughters as well. So, Zach, when you talk about, the way the pro games are played, we're going to include the girls because they're going in this direction as well. The athletes are so much more fit. Mm-hmm. And the swing is so much more athletic. And I'm not going to say I think the players are better now than when I played, and I think there's more of them. But the game's changed so much. It's strictly power. Back when we played, we had guys that really crafted their way around the course. Mm-hmm. The equipment wasn't very good. The balls curved a lot. Now you've got these guys that look like, they could play basketball, they could play middle infield or midfield for some soccer club somewhere. Mm-hmm. You've got these guys playing, and so the physical part becomes way more important.
Absolutely. So, and nowadays they're investing more in their body. So they're taking this long term and they're committing to an actual structured routine year in, year out. So it's not just the off season; it's throughout the entire year. If you're looking for longevity and pain-free golf, you have to commit to your body along with the golf game as well.
Zach Cutler is our guest with Golf and Training Institute at Family Golf and Learning Center. Zach, I'm assuming that with a golfer, you're dealing with a lot of backs. You mentioned that you have a chiropractic background, so this has got to be what you're primarily dealing with right now?
Yeah, so there's a couple different avenues. I have golfers that come in that have low back pain, maybe some neck pain, hip pain, knee pain. I look at all of that, and eventually would want to get into more of the golf performance side, and that's where that assessment that I talked about earlier. First, I try to get everyone relieved of the pain so we can actually go through the assessment, but pain is by far the first importance of everything.
It's an interesting kind of riddle, isn't it, Zach? Because a lot of guys and gals have dealt with some chronic issues for so long that they almost have forgotten that it's part of their everyday life. Then you put a golf club in their hand and they're restricted and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't turn very well.
Absolutely. And that's where the assessment really pinpoints areas of limitation, specifically with mobility and stability. And if we're able to pinpoint those areas and then provide specific movements and treatment, then a lot of times we find relief for symptoms.
What's an assessment? What happens? I walk through the doors. What am I going to face?
Yeah. So
they throw in the towel when they see you and I come in. They're like, no, we can't do that.
No chance.
We can't do that, man.
He's out.
It's so not super strenuous. It's 16 moves. It's basic body movements of hip hinge, knee hinge. We're looking at rotation. We're looking at a deep squat, and we talk about past medical history first. We go in, so I know where the body's at, so I don't do some moves that we can't do based on the past medical history. So,
what are you seeing, Zach, as strength compared to flexibility? And I know they go hand in hand, but if you were to say one thing is more important, or what is maybe it's neither, what is the thing in your mind that's the most critical for people to play better golf?
So core stability for sure. So a lot of low back pain comes from just lack of core stability. So if you're going to have a stronger core, you're going to be more stable around the torso, and all the rotation in the golf swing. I mean, it's going to put a lot of torque on that low back. So core stability, number one. So that can go hand in hand. So it's not necessarily mobility, but it's going to allow you to have that rotation, week in and week out, without having that low back pain.
Well, I read something interesting, Danny. I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not, but Will Zalatoris is down again. He's got another issue, and he had back surgery as a young man, 26, 27 years old. And the article that I was reading, Zach, was talking about how a guy who's built more like Jack Nicklaus, who's much thicker than someone who's built more like Zalatoris or Tiger Woods, because Tiger's had 5 back surgeries. Do you see a correlation to that, or is it just kind of luck of the DNA draw?
It could be the luck, but also maybe some, genetics where maybe there's some history of, a little bit more degeneration with discs that are related with the family. But when it comes down to Zalatoris, he puts a lot of torque on that low back, and there's some guys on tour right now that I see that, core stability can be very, very beneficial for long-term and, having pain-free golf for as long as possible.
What's the most common injury you see that comes through your doors?
So I would say, probably disc bulge if we're looking for actual chiropractic care.
Yeah.
But in regards to like limitations from the assessment, definitely thoracic spine rotation and hip mobility.
And so what does that mean? Tell me, put it in layman's terms.
Yep. So basically with, first off, for chiropractic, a disc bulge, it's a slight, posterior bulge of the disc in your spine, causing some irritation on some nerves that could go down the back of the glute, back of the legs. Really uncomfortable when swinging with golf and with rotation. So I take those golfers and those patients through more of a chiropractic treatment, soft tissue therapy, and specific moves to help relieve that pressure.
And you mentioned hip too.
Mm-hmm,
so what happens there?
Yeah, so there's different areas. So this is what's neat too. So with the assessment, I figure out if it's a true limitation or if it's just a mind-body connection limitation. So I'll tell you the difference. So if we're going through an assessment and someone physically can't get the full degree of range of motion in their hip, both active and passively, we know it's a true limitation that they have. When we go through a range of motion where actively it looks like they can't get the full range of motion, and then I passively go through, it shows that they have the full range of motion. It's just a mind-body connection. Those are easier where it just takes a few exercises. It gets their mind in tune with their body to tell them that, hey, I have this range of motion. I can get in that position.
Interesting.
So Zach, as we age, my daughter's like, Dad, you lost your butt. Where I'm like, what happens to us? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. I unscrew
Where's
all the
Jay's butt?
Exactly. I unscrew all the light bulbs in my bathroom because I'm like, I'll just brush my teeth in the dark, please, because I don't need to be looking at this anymore.
So as we get older, so mobility is definitely huge, but also strength. So continuing with strength training, it doesn't necessarily need to be, golf specific. It just overall strength of the muscles. It's going to help strengthen the bones as well, but also more stability for your hips, your T-spine, and so on.
Interesting. This is fascinating stuff. So if somebody walks through your doors and they really have just a slight issue with a back or their hip or rotation, what are the exercises? Can you explain that over the radio, some of the exercises that people can do?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the disc bulge. So we'll go into a cobra position. We call them Mackenzie extension press-ups. And so we're trying to mobilize the joint, and then we try to stabilize the joint. So dead bugs, bird dogs, very universal movements. A lot of people, when they're performing, they're like, this is too easy, but we have to perform it correctly. If you perform it correctly, then you're going to get the most benefit out of it. So
those Supermans and those bird dogs and everything, where you're on your stomach and lifting opposite arms and legs. And if you don't do them right, because you use some bigger muscles, when you isolate those smaller muscles, you're like, oh, that's what that is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I come into play. I'm right there, one-on-one, making sure all the movements are performed correctly, and there's progression. So I like to go into different stages. There's pain reduction and mobility. That's the first grouping. Then we have mobility, stability, and then stability and strength. So the strength aspect reinforces everything once we get everything in place.
Family Golf and Learning Center is kind of a one-stop shop. So you can go hit balls, you can go play, you can do all that, but then you go upstairs and they find you. But there's also other aspects of that too. I'm sure that you work in conjunction with the trainers and things of that nature.
Absolutely. So the teaching pros out of Family Golf are great. I think there's 8 of them over there, and we communicate hand in hand, and we talk about the swing and how it correlates to their assessment results, and we try to attack each golfer with the full realm of options and services.
And it doesn't hurt that you've been such a good player, so you can help the beginner golfer to the more expertise level.
Absolutely, especially the junior golfers growing up. I've been through the process of how stressful it can be with wanting to play college golf, talking to coaches, what route do I take, what tournaments, and just from knowledge in the past, I try to help junior golfers growing up and help them the route to take.
What's the youngest kid that you're dealing with?
Right now it's 9.
Wow.
9 years old. Oldest is 82.
Is that right?
Yep.
82 in there all the time and saying, hey, help me out. I want to get back on the course.
Not help me out. Help me up.
Help me up, maybe.
Mobility and strength.
Yeah.
And it's more maintenance. Just like I said, it's longevity and pain-free golf. So if we can maintain that, I feel like that's a positive.
What's the best way to get a hold of you and to get an assessment?
Yeah, website, golfandtraininginstitute.com, and then Instagram as well, and TikTok, Golf and Training Institute. So, website on there, all the information. And I also want to say thank you to Dr. Murphy and Performance Chiropractic. He was the one, along with Adam Betts, that gave me this opportunity to start everything up here, and it's been great last few years, and helped so many people, and look forward to continuing this in the future.
Good stuff. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
That's Zach Cutler with Golf and Training Institute at Family Golf and Learning Center. We'll be back with more. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was the Back Nine, presented by Elevate Golf. Get your golf game in shape with Elevate Golf.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute-trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner of Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.
A professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance.
This is Paul Lazinger, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, Jay Delsing here, and I know I speak for all of we golfers. We're always looking to try to improve our game. For me, that means I go to one place, and that one place is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened his family business in 1975 with a goal of providing St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and technology. Whether you need a new rangefinder, your first set of clubs, or anything else you can think of, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. If you're a scratch handicap or you carry a 20 handicap, come visit Pro-Am Golf and inquire about a lesson from Tom DeGrand. He's been fixing golf swings and making St. Louis better at golf for over 40 years. Go get your gear, lessons, or anything golf related where I go, and that's Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. You can also visit them online at Pro-Am Golf USA. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com. It's Pro-Am Golf, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, rated as the #1 golf show in the Midwest. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Golf with Jay Delsing on 101 ESPN. Our thanks to Zach Cutler with Golf and Training Institute over at Family Golf and Learning Center. And with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin as we come to you every Sunday from the Car Shield Studios, 8 to 10 here on 101 ESPN. Mentioned earlier in the show, I was going to ask you about equipment. And there's some things that are out there that the average golfer, the amateurs out there, doesn't matter your handicap, should probably be looking at. And you said something to me that really stuck with me and something that I want to try out as well. But you've been kind of fooling around a little bit with folks with a 6-wood.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, I was looking at some, in fact, Danny, your wife Libby sent me this really cool, we've been messing around with stuff for your daughter Avery and trying to give her some different options with her golf bag, you know? And so, and one of those options might be a 6-wood. And so, folks, there's a bunch of PGA Tour players that have been messing with a 6-wood. Max Homa, Wyndham Clark, and they do that all the time, especially for the major championships because of the rough. And the hybrids don't get through as well. You get a little more mass on the head of a little utility wood, and it will give you some variety out of the rough. And so, but what's interesting to me, Danny, is that these guys are just playing with it now because we were doing that back in the day when we get in some of these roughs, because a 4-iron in some of this rough isn't going to be any good, but a 6-wood or even a 7-wood, it doesn't matter what number is on there. It's all about the loft on the club, and it'll determine how far the ball goes. So, folks, give that some consideration because it's a really good way to fill out that middle part of your bag. You know, before you start getting into the middle irons, it's not exactly a long iron. It's not exactly a hybrid. Consider it because they're not hard to hit. They're funny to look at, though. I will give you that. You're like, what is this thing? You know, it's a shorter shaft. It's got too much loft. It's not a 3-wood. It's not a 5-wood. It's certainly not a hybrid. It's just this kind of weird-looking club, but they can be really, really effective.
Do you use one? Have you thought about using one?
I have my 5-wood, which I kind of use.
That 5-wood has been around longer than you have.
I know. That thing is old, man. I can remember I got that in the 90s, and it's an Olimar low profile, and they gave us out all this stock in the company that was valued supposedly at the time for $7,500 a year to play this thing, and then all the stock went to nothing.
That's all right. It's helped you with a lot of shots.
I like my 5-wood, though. Love my 5-wood.
The 5-wood has given you a lot of shots.
Yeah.
A lot of shots.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, here's another thing I'm going to say since we're talking equipment, because, Danny, I was thinking about this for you. A lot of times, the hardest club in the bag for people to find is a 3-wood. A lot of times, for the hardest club in the bag for a PGA Tour pro to hit, Danny, is a 3-wood.
Why is that?
Well, and I was just going to explain, because it is the wood that you don't tee up all the time that has the straightest face, the least amount of loft. So it is. We used to say if we could rip our 3-wood off the deck, That was the litmus test to see how we were swinging. Because, Danny, I can't tell you how many times I've hit a 3-wood off the deck and topped it in a PGA Tour event. I have. And I saw great players do the same thing. Sometimes you're just not swinging that well. So what I wanted to bring up to our folks is, if that is indeed the case and you hate your 3-wood, go to your pro, your PGA professional, and ask him, how about a 4-wood? How about a 4.5-wood? Add a little more loft. It's your friend. Loft is your friend. Remember, loft is your friend. Whenever you're in doubt, pitching around the greens, go to more loft. More loft, more loft, more loft. I can't say that enough. It just helps you. But on this occasion, try and wait for your favorite club manufacturer to have its demo day. We saw somebody, I think it was Titleist, giving their demo day just the other day. And go out there and tell them what you're looking at and have them build you up a couple clubs and give them a test run. I think it can really help.
We're going to talk a little bit about grips, too. Golf Pride, it was recently mentioned that Golf Pride and the grips that they provide, it's something like 80% of the tour is using Golf Pride, and that's something that you have used forever, isn't it?
Forever and ever. Yeah, they're the best. It's hard to even imagine that anybody else has. I remember one year, Danny, Wind Grips paid me like $5,000 to use their grips, and so I did. And it was fun. I didn't notice much difference at all. There was a little different texture, but not bad at all. But for the most part, the Golf Pride's all there is. And the cool thing is the variety that they have. There is something for everybody. And so, folks, when you're buying a set of clubs, you're buying a new set of clubs. Maybe it's a driver, maybe it's your irons, whatever it might be. If you're buying a set of TaylorMades, for example, like our buddy Jeff Thornhills would sell you, they're going to come, if you don't state what sort of grips you prefer, they're going to come with a TaylorMade standard grip on there. So the club manufacturers have jumped into this foray and said, well, we're going to put our brand on there if we can. But for no extra charge, you could say to them, I want a standard cord, or I want a Tour Velvet, or I want a whatever the grip you want. You could take a picture of it, but it won't cost you anything extra. Most people don't know that.
No, really, I didn't know that.
But the manufacturers, they want it. They want their own grip on there, but you can get any grip you want.
How about shoes? We get a lot of questions about shoes, and the common shoe, it seemed like forever, was FootJoy, but that's not necessarily the case anymore.
No, because you've watched Nike get into golf, and then so they came out with a shoe. Then you watch Adidas with a, because they make athletic wear and athletic shoes. Puma has a shoe, so there's lots and lots to choose from the shoe market, Danny. I like the Puma Ignite. It's a really good shoe, and I'll tell you why I like it. It's lightweight, but it gives me support. I've got a really funky ankle, and on one side, and the other side, I've had like 3 surgeries on that other foot, so I'm a mess. But I need a little support, so I know folks will like the lighter shoes compared to the FootJoy Classics and those all wooden-soled shoes and everything. But for those that need a little more support, check out those Nike Ignite. And also, there's a shoe out called the Square. And I got to tell you, there is some swing benefit from having that square-toed shoe. It just helps you grip the ground a little when you're pushing and turning. It really, really does. So try it.
How about a glove, and the common glove that you're looking for, and what that has done for you and your career and how it's changed over the years?
I love the feel. So there's a certain feel that I like, folks, and I've been ridiculously spoiled. Let's be honest. I have been ridiculously spoiled. Yeah, that's right. You're looking at me like that. That's the fact.
Sounds like Jay's got a lot of things sent to his house.
You knew this. Yeah, you knew this, and now you're hearing me finally admitting it. But the FootJoy Player Glove, the Titleist Player Glove is my favorite. The FootJoy, anything FootJoy next to it is my next favorite. But I see the guys that wear the TaylorMade Players Glove. So, folks, here's the deal. The Players Gloves, they're that Cabretta leather. They're softer. They wear out fast. You are talking to a guy that gets his gloves and got paid to wear a certain glove. So this may not be the most helpful for you, but you can go get gloves that are thicker and more durable and will last. And I got to tell you, Sniper Golf. Go to snipergolf.com. Check out their gloves. You will not believe how inexpensive they are, and they're coming in all colors now, Danny. So you can get a black glove, a green glove. It's super, super cool. But the Sniper glove is good. The sizes are a little bit. I have a hand that's a medium large. It's right between large and medium large. And so if you're in between, check out the Sniper gloves, because they are super, super inexpensive and really durable.
All right, our final look at equipment is clubs. Is there a brand that is primarily played on the tour?
No.
So it's all different,
all
just how
represented.
you feel.
Get Shrixon, which is the Korean brand. You get is that Korean or is it Asian? Is it Japanese? I think it's Asian. I could be wrong. I'll get an email or two on it. Who cares? We've got Titleist that JT, Justin Thomas plays. Adam Scott still plays. I think Rob McIntyre was carrying a Titleist bag, wasn't he? And then you've got the TaylorMade bags that are full of TaylorMade clubs. Rory, Jason Day, Tiger, and then you got different balls, Bridgestone. You got Bridgestone clubs. You've got Callaway is huge and big into the market.
So there's not one size fits all in this thing.
Man. And I will tell the folks now, if you haven't bought new clubs in the last 12 years, you got to get in there. But you can buy any manufacturer now. And even as little as 20 years ago, Danny, I would have sent you to two manufacturers because everybody else was all over the map. They just were not making great stuff. Now the stuff is good. They're all made right around in the same place in the world, and they're high quality.
And as I've heard you say a million times, get fitted, right?
Oh, 100%. Don't even. Are we still talking about that?
No.
Call the boys over at Pro-Am Golf and get fitted. Tom DeGrand, he's the best. He's been giving golf lessons for 45 years. Tom's got all the fancy equipment. Get fitted. And even if you don't go to Tom, get fitted. It'll just help you so much.
That's Jay. I'm Dan. We call this Golf with Jay Delsing, heard every Sunday on 101 ESPN from 8 to 10. We'll go to the mailbag when we come back. Some questions for Jay, some advice from Jay, just pertaining to golf. That's all coming up on Golf with Jay Delsing.
That's all you want to listen to, by the way.
We're heading into the clubhouse, and it's time to go into the mailbag. Tips from a PGA Tour player are coming up. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Darty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Darty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Darty Business Solutions.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's biggest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Langer, Ernie Els, and more will return September 3rd through the 8th at Norwood Hills. All tournament proceeds go to area charities serving North St. Louis County youth and families. Sponsorship opportunities, Pro-Am foursomes, and more information available for you at AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com.
I'm delighted to welcome the Amateur Players Tour to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. The APT team has worked so hard to establish a national golf tour for amateurs. Folks, don't miss out on this opportunity. If you love golf and ever wondered what all the fuss about tournament golf is, then this tour is for you. We just released the 2024 schedule, and it is a beast. There's 21 events currently in the metropolitan St. Louis area, with many more to come. But check out these golf courses: Paynes Valley, Ozark National, Stonewolf, Ambrier, Persimmon Woods, Gateway National, and a 36-hole event on Norwood's West Course, and many more. Okay, so the courses are certainly cool and nice, but what's really neat is the way the events are run and how they are run. The APT team does a fantastic job of closely monitoring handicaps and ensuring a good and fair competition. There are 5 divisions, a year-long points competition, major championships, elevated events, and much, much more. Right now, there are over 6,000 members in 41 different local chapters across the country, and all that's happened in just over 5 years. Join now and don't miss out on the best tournament golf in the country, run for amateurs by amateurs themselves. Go to amateurplayerstour.com. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by CarShield and Doherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Down the stretch we go with Golf with Jay Delsing, heard every Sunday 8 to 10 here on 101 ESPN, coming to you from the CarShield studios, and we're always brought to you by Doherty Business Solutions. It is our mailbag segment. That is Jay. I'm Dan. We're going to get into matching up your short game and how you do that, Jay. And let's get a lot of questions about that in the short game and just how you improve that aspect of your game.
Right. So, folks, here's a couple of things you have to remember. And this is where, so I see people trying to hit short shots, Danny, but they don't have, like, they want to hit a high shot and they have the ball back in their stance, or they want to hit a low shot and the ball's forward, and it's just all mixed up. You got to match this stuff up. So here's what it looks like. If it's a normal height shot, then put the ball in the middle of your stance and leave your hands kind of right on the front edge of the ball. If you're going to hit a high shot, though, folks, get the ball forward. It's got to be forward. And if you're under a tree and hitting a low one, it's got to be backwards. So those things have to go to help you hit the shots that you see. And half the time, we don't get the ball in the right place to hit the shot that we want to hit, meaning we're trying to hit a high shot with the ball in the back of our stance, and you see all these people making these gyrations, standing down at the ball and through the ball and trying to figure it out, and it doesn't work out. And here's the last part of this. Folks, with your putter, whether you're 6'5" like I am, you're 6'1" like Danny is, you're 5'5" like Woozy is, whatever it is, whether you're a man or a woman, we will fit the putter for you. Pull it off the rack, and if it doesn't feel comfortable the way that the putter is soling so that it's completely square and flush to the ground, then go to your PGA Pro. He won't charge you, and he'll bend that for you and make it either flatter or more upright. But do that because we'll make the putter fit you, not you fit the putter.
All right, Tim is asking, I think, a really good question. He's got a 50 degree, he's got a 56, and he's got a 60. How would you use those various wedges in chipping around the green, or how far out maybe with a 50 degree to get that low jump and then skid it up there, so to speak? I'm trying to describe this on the radio, but you know what I mean.
Of course. So what you're talking about how do you hit a wide variety of short game shots with various heights, various spins, and things like that. And so here's what we're talking about, folks. You go up to a par 5, and it's a three-tiered green, and you're 10 yards off the front of the green, and the flag sticks all the way in the back. So you got 3 tiers, 3 humps that you got to go over to get to that thing. Do you want to try to fly it all the way up there with your 60, or do you want it, what you're talking about, do you want to take your 50 degree and chip it about halfway there, have it, spin and check up? That's what we're talking about. And so I am not going to be able to tell you how far any of those are going to go. They're all going to vary according to your strength and your speed. But what I can tell you is when if you put the ball in the middle of your stance and make your normal pitching motion with your 50, with your 56, and your 60, you're going to have 3 different shots that with the same technique go different distances. So know that. So what I mean by that is make that same swing with each one of those clubs and measure how far those balls fly in the air. And then you're going to have 3 shots with each club. Then when you move the ball forward in your stance and use each 3 of those clubs, you're going to have 3 more shots. And you can do it for the same in the back if you want. And folks, if that's getting too much to add 9 different short game shots, leave your 50 degree out. Leave your 50 degree out. You'll never, ever notice the difference. Just use your 56 and your 60, put it in the middle of your stance, in the front of your stance, in the back of your stance. And with your 56 and your 60, you got 3 completely different shots that you're making the exact same motion with. And it's going to help you fill in the gaps of your short game. And that's what we're talking about, how to match up your short game and how to fill in those gaps.
Susan in South City wants to know about the grips. Heard you guys talking about grips with the clubs. What about grips on a putter in terms of what that means?
That's awesome. So Super Stroke, Danny, has revolutionized the world of putting. It's absolutely insane what they've done because they've made these putter grips all sorts of big, thick sizes, but they're not heavy. And so, Danny, when I was a kid and I was struggling with my putter, I wanted my grip to be more built up. So I went up to the golf shop and into the work bench area, and I put a grip on there, and then I put a wrap around that grip. It was huge. But Danny, what I didn't have was the right type of material, so it it counterbalanced the head, making the grip end super heavy and took all the weight out of the head of the putter, so I couldn't feel the putter anymore. So it didn't work. But Super Strokes has figured that out. There's small, medium, large, and think oversized grips, and check them out, folks. They are absolutely fantastic. Some of them are pistol grips like a standard old putter grip used to be. That used to be one of the most popular grip styles on putters, but now they have squares, they have semi-round, they have all sorts of different configurations so that you can get your hands on the putter and be comfortable. And folks, that is so crucially important to hole putts, because when you're putting, we want you to be as relaxed and soft with your hands and everything as we can, and then as comfortable as possible. So this is a big deal.
Jeff in Kirkwood is curious about sliding on a swing. He says, I slide way too much. How do I counteract that?
Okay, so Jeff, more than likely, so folks, here's what sliding in your swing means. It means your hips are moving too much laterally, okay? We want rotation in our golf swing, not lateral motions. And so if you just stand up at your desk right now and push your hips left and right, that's what a slide is. What we want, so you'll feel it go outside your feet as you push it to the side, right? What we want to feel is, let's say you're a right-handed golfer, you're standing up at address. When you make your backswing, we want your trail hip or your right hip to go back behind you and to squat a little bit, okay? A lot of pressure stays in the inside part of your knee, the inside part of your right foot, and your right butt cheek, you'll feel it there. And then as we unwind, we transfer our weight over from our right side to our left. We go that front foot, we pound that into the turf, Danny, and now we use that as like a rotational post. So our foot is in the ground, our hip turns. Now our left hip goes to that left foot and then starts going backwards. And the faster you can do that, the further you're going to hit the ball. There's no slide in there, and you're going to rip that ball straight down the line instead of pushing and pulling all the time with that slide. When I was a kid, I used to slide like crazy. And
you were telling me that's something you battled for a long time.
I did. I battled it for the longest time, in that we were kind of reverse C era back then, and it was really, really tough for me to get out of.
How did you do it then? Just working on it constantly?
Yeah, just working, just like what I told you. And then so one of the things that I would do is I would put a ball, when the ground was soft, I'd put a ball into the ground, I'd stand on it and put the back right part of my right shoe on that ball, Danny, and then I turn into that right side, and that prevented me from swaying off it. Typically speaking, folks, if you can stop the initial slide on your backswing, you will not slide forward. The slide forward is usually caused by a sway off the ball going forward.
What about
99% of the time, Danny?
We've got about 45 seconds. Club face control. Can you fit this one in?
I love it. Well, probably not, but club face control is super cool, especially when we're talking about our short game, right? We want to keep that wedge, when we're hitting short shots around the green, we want to keep the face of that wedge, Danny, facing the sky the entire time. And folks, that's going to help you use the bounce a little bit more too. That's probably all I can get into. We can talk about that next week.
That's what we're going to do. Our thanks to Tom Watson. What a great visit with him. Zach Cutler from Family Golf and Learning Center. And Jay, how do we end the show?
Get him straight, St. Louis.
This is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood. Our motto is play your best golf. We have the best instruction for every skill level. 2 female instructors along with our 8 PGA instructors. We're there for the kids and the adults who are starting to play and trying to refine their game. Family Golf and Learning Center features a double-decker driving range, grass tees, and a short game area, along with indoor simulators and a performance center. That's not all. Don't forget about our Back Nine Bar and Grill. Find out how we can help you and your family. Head to familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. Brought to you by CarShield and Doherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests,